Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RV Inspection and Care podcast and video. I'm Dwayne. I'm a certified RV inspector, and today we're going to be talking about the best RV gear and equipment that we have bought just recently for our new Alliance Delta travel trailer. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you probably know that recently we made a transition. We downsized from our 40-foot diesel pusher motorhome that we had enjoyed for years to a 28-foot travel trailer instead. If you want to know about the reasons and all the information about the transition, well, I made a video about that just a few weeks ago, and I'll put a link to it in the description of this video and podcast. But you know, when RVers get a new RV, one of the first things they want to do is make it comfortable for them. They like to personalize their RV and think of ways to make RV life easier and better for them. And certainly that was true of us as well. But what we found was that not all of the RV gear and equipment we had used for years in our motorhome actually translated and transferred over to the travel trailer really well. So we needed new equipment in many cases. And this video is to show you what we feel are our best choices in that area for RV gear and equipment. And hopefully by doing that, it might give you some ideas of things that would work well for your RV as well. So now let's start inside the travel trailer at the kitchen area. And all the things I'm going to cover here in the kitchen really revolve around a central theme, and that is that in RVs in general, and especially in travel trailers, the kitchen counter area is at a premium. It's difficult to have enough counter space in almost any RV kitchen. So you have to be creative. You have to think of ways to have what you want in the kitchen, but not necessarily just sitting out on the counter. So let's talk about the first thing that we felt was good to free up some counter space, and that is a kitchen sink strainer. It's a stainless steel strainer. It's flexible, and what it does is that after we wash dishes, then you can put the dishes right on the sink strainer and let them just drip dry, but you don't take up any counter space to do that, and it still leaves you some space in the sink itself to be usable. So it was a good choice for us. The second thing that we got that has really worked well, and you can actually see it over my shoulder right now, is a spice rack. Now, Sherry likes to use spices in cooking, and a lot of different spices. But spice racks can take up huge amounts of counter space. So what we did instead is we installed a metal sheet on the wall behind the stove, and then Sherry uses these smaller magnetic containers that she puts all of her spices in, and she's got them all labeled, and she just sticks them right up there on that sheet. And it actually doesn't take up any counter space, and it uses an area in the RV that really wouldn't be used for hardly anything else. So it has worked well for us. The third piece of equipment we have used that's really good, it's a small thing. You really don't think a lot about it, but it's a banana hook. And that's because we like lots of fruit in our diet. And bananas certainly are one of those types of things that we like to have with us. But bananas, if you sit them out on the counter, well, number one, they take up space. Number two, they're easily bruised. So it's good to hang bananas if you can. And we found a really nice, neat little hook that actually folds out of the way if you don't have anything that you're using it for at the time. No bananas at that point, you just fold it away. But when you're using it, it gets them up off the counter and doesn't use any counter space, and it's not obtrusive. It just screwed right up under our cabinets there. And once again, you can see it over my shoulder. The next thing that we have installed that's worked really well is a magnetic knife holder. Of course, you can get knife holders that go on the counter, but once again, if you use too many things that go on the counter, you run out of space fast. This one just adhered right to the wall, and you can put all of your knives right on it very easily. They stick there. They don't ever come off, even when you're traveling down the road. But when you need them, they're right there and easy to get. It has been great for Sherry in the kitchen. Well, those are the things that we have gotten for the kitchen area, and especially to free up counter space. Now let's move from the kitchen and let's go into the bathroom and the shower area. You know, in that area, one thing you really are going to need is towel holders somewhere, and very often RV manufacturers don't really put towel holders in when they provide you with the RV. I think for one reason, they kind of figure that you probably want to select where you put those holders. And I agree with that. The thing is that the bathroom walls are thin, you know, they're that wall board. So you got to be careful about how you adhere things to the wall, those holders. So what we did is, when we're talking about smaller towels, you know, hand towels, things along that line, well, we bought some stick-on holders that you can see, and they just go right onto the wall. All you have to do is use a little isopropyl alcohol to clean the wall first, and then they go right on. And you know what? We have not had any problem with them. They're sticking really good. But what about for the bigger towels, like the shower towels? We have bigger towels there, and they can be heavy. Well, we found another holder that has the stick-on that you can use, but it also has 2 screws on the side that make sure it stays up. And we put that right in the shower because we don't have a lot of wall space in the travel trailer. And you know what? It has worked fantastic, and it has held really well. The next thing we got for the bathroom that we have actually used for quite a while is shower liquid dispensers. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I have recommended them in the past on several occasions because they really work well. You don't have to have a whole bunch of bottles there in your RV shower. Once again, space is at a premium in most RV showers. So you just simply put these dispensers right up on the wall. They're not in the way anywhere. You put the liquid in and then dispense it as you need it. And you know what? It works really great. They install pretty easily. I've done them several times now, and it just goes super simple and easy, and have never had one come down, even with the weight of all the liquid that we have put in there. So I think it's a great solution for keeping bathroom showers uncluttered. Let's move on to number 7, and boy, is this a good one. This is one that has really been one of the best things we got. When you get a new travel trailer, these days, it seems like every manufacturer wants to send it out with this ridiculous, pathetic vent fan in it that really doesn't do anything. I mean, it doesn't move much air, and it is noisy, so it's a pain. And I was considering a lot of ways to go here. Should I actually just replace the whole vent fan area? You know, take that one out and put a whole new one in? Well, that was going to be a lot of work. And then I came across the Hings fan that I'm going to show you here. And it is a lifesaver. All you have to do is just simply remove the fan, the ineffective fan in the vent, and then replace it with the Hings fan instead. You don't even have to go out on the roof at all. You can do this inside the RV. and it works well. I mean, it moves some air, and it's a lot quieter than the fan that comes from the factory. As far as install directions are concerned, actually it was an easy install. I made it hard because I was thinking that you could use the same hardware from the old fan with the new one, and eventually found out that's not the case. So as long as you follow the directions with the fan and use the hardware they send, you should have a pretty easy job of putting it up. The next piece of equipment that we have gotten for the bedroom is hat holders. I have some hats that I like to wear. Well, hats take up a lot of room, and you got to be careful or they'll get squished. So it's best to put them on the wall, but again, they're thin wall boards. So what we found was there are stick-on hat holders that work very well for RVs. They work great for baseball caps, but I'll tell you, I've got a cowboy hat that actually is very heavy, and it has functioned well for that too. So if you've got hats that you want to carry along with you in your RV, this could be a real good addition. It was cheap, it was easy and simple. The next thing I want to consider that is a piece of equipment that has worked well for us. I'm not sure it will for you, but we have a business that we operate as we go around the country. And as a self-employed person, there's a lot of documents that we have to print as a result of that. Well, a laser printer can be a very heavy and bulky thing to carry along with you in a small travel trailer. So what I came up with is the use of a thermal printer instead. And you can see it here. It's small, it's lightweight, it works well. We actually just store it away in many cases when we're not using it. When we need it, it comes out quick, sets up easy, and off you go. And it has worked well for us in our trips around the country with our business. So if you have a business of some type that requires printing documents, well, then consider a thermal printer. The next piece of equipment that has worked well for us so far is a flexible water hose. You know, with travel trailers, your storage space is really not nearly as big as like I had in my motorhome. I had a pass-through storage area there. You don't have a very big one in a travel trailer. So when you try to coil up those normal hoses, first of all, they fight you in cold weather, right? And then once you put them in the storage area, well, they just take up a lot of space. But a flexible water hose lets you really coil them up easy, even in cold weather, and then they store easily too. So it's worked well for us. Just make sure it's a drinking water flexible water hose. The last piece of equipment I'm going to talk about today is something that I have always recommended to everyone who is an RVer, and that is an electrical management system surge protector. The one we had on our motorhome worked great, and it saved us on several occasions. So our travel trailer is not the same size. It's a smaller one. So I got another EMS. And you know what? It helped us out on our first campsite that we stayed at. When we went there and started to hook up to the pedestal, the EMS unit told us there were problems. Well, the campground people told us that can't be. Guess what? It was. And so it required somebody coming out and fixing it. So right away, the EMS unit was helping us out, protecting us from day one. And I highly recommend that when you go to any campground with any RV. Well, I hope these items that I've covered today, this RV gear and equipment, will be helpful for you because they've really been helpful for us already. And I hope that by going over this list, it'll give you some kind of ideas that might work out for your situation as well. So I'm going to put a link to all of this equipment in the description of this video and podcast, and you can check out all those items and see if you think it's going to be something that will be helpful for you too. And that's it for now. Have safe and happy travels, my friends. Until next time.